Hey everyone, I'm Liz Beecroft of MENTL.SESH, and today I'm sitting down with Xylk to chat all things creative mental health. My platform, MENTL.SESH, is really about bringing the conversation to the forefront when it comes to the mental health of athletes, entertainers, and creatives. And Xylk, you're really known for grocery bags, but tell me more about what other projects you have going on and how, you've gotten to be where you're at currently.
Yes, my name is Silk, like the fabric, aka Pigo the Pinoy Inigo, life designer number one. Uh, yeah, people know me for the grocery bags. It started off in 2019. It started off as a fun little thing for myself through the grinding music video as our first as the first design. And then it kind of like trickled down to like a collaboration with a bunch of other creatives in the city, like Sean Brown, Kid Studio, Sarah V, and then it trickled down to like an Adidas bag collaboration for their Stan Smith's campaign. And then now, fast forward to 2, 3 years later, we we have the expensive grocery bags, and as far as the internet's concerned, that's what I do. I am a bag lady to everyone. I am the bag lady. I think it's putting a little fun twist on uh, the how we think and see what reusable grocery bags are, kind of infusing streetwear, fashion, and a little bit of pop culture references onto the designs. Aside from the grocery bags, I am also, me and my team, we're working specifically my partner, life designer number two with a star tattoo, Fisayo Olawalafe. We are cultivating the very first luxury streetwear brand coming out of the Philippines, where everything is made in Manila, made in the motherland. And so that's what we're working on right now, and we're focusing on for the next couple of years.
Yeah, yeah. And when I met you for the first time in person in Toronto, when was this? Like about early May? Yeah,
Yeah,
early May. So about a month ago.
about a month ago.
You showed me all of this in person, and it's amazing. And like just from a creative standpoint, is this something you knew your entire life? Like you wanted to be a designer? Like what was little Xylk? Where were you going when you were little?
It's
What did you want to do?
Hey, it's funny because I was in music all throughout my ever since I was 8 years old up until I was 22, I would say. I had my mindset on being a musician. I had a band, everything, and I kind of fallen out of love out of that because of the politics. But growing up, my mom was in advertising. She was a art director for Leo Burnett, and she had me very young. So, which meant, growing up with my mom, which meant going to work with her, going to, at certain points she was still taking classes as well. So I was going to classes with her, but at an early age, I was surrounded, by I was in an environment where it was high competitive creativity kind of mentality. So everyone there, as if you see Mad Men,
Mm.
it's exactly like that, but not not in the 50s or 60s. Whoever made the best idea win,
Yeah.
in a very dog type of world. So I was exposed to that at a early age, and I really liked it. Um, so for me, being in this space now where we're creatively solving problems, specifically in the streetwear and product industry sector, I think that kind of it bled through. I kind of created that agency like atmosphere, but instead of taking on clients, we're doing it for ourselves.
Yeah, which I think
Yeah,
is extremely fulfilling. You know,
super.
as creatives, like it's so hard to be put in a position where, you're not necessarily working for yourself. Like, someone else might want your creativity, but they want it done their way, or,
Right.
not in the way that you kind of want to utilize your skills. And I think like having the power and the autonomy to be able to really use those skills in the way you want to do it, to tell the message, stories, any resources that you have, and do it your way. Like, there's so much power in that.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world with social media, like, there's so much more exposure now. People can kind of come out of nowhere and have a platform almost overnight. Like, we've seen that
Yeah.
happen with TikTok, with Instagram. And as a creative, like, there's a lot that comes into play when you think of that.
Yeah, I would also say too that no one else can champion your story or your narrative, your vision better than you can. So delivering for yourself, I think, is a key component as to the success of independent like artists, creatives, entrepreneurs. And that's like an evolution. First it's a hobby, and then it's
Mhm.
a thing that now all of a sudden, after you have a proof of concept, now you're an entrepreneur. So that's why I say it like that. But yeah, I completely agree. I think it's just something that ultimately, um, we all come from. We're all a reflection of our past and on the environment that that we grew up in. So right now, it is a huge reflection of what I was in from the very beginning.
Yeah. So very authentic and genuine to who you are, which is,
I like to think so, and for me, we like to use the word rooted uh, in our team. So there's when it's rooted, there's a sense of purpose, and there's a sense of self uh, awareness.
yeah.
When you're rooted. You're acting out of purpose, like I said. So yeah, we like to say the word rooted.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, because when you think of roots, like, there's always a direction. There's always like a core, something like an anchor holding it down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Solid foundation. You think about like the hardest tree to move is the one that's super rooted within the soil. So that's how strong we're trying to be.
What's something you want people to know about you and the brands, plural, that you're building?
That we're here to solve problems. Number one. Number two, that we're running off of the Filipino spirit, which in three words encapsulates humor, emotion, and aesthetics. I want people to know that we are here of service, and we do not believe that any idea is ours. It is everyone's.
I love that. I think that is very important to say,
Yeah,
especially in today's world. I see that all the time, where like one little design thing comes up and it's similar and
oh, you copied it from me or
copied.
whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it makes it not fun at that point, and it turns into like a pissing contest, which I am not interested in. I think it's just marinated in ego. A lot of those things um, that people kind of it kind of emits out of them. And to me, like I said, it's bigger than myself. It's bigger than the the product itself. It's about the people. It's about the community. How are we solving a problem? And yeah, the possessiveness aspect to ideas is something that I think one of the things that I had to let go of, um, which my you know which my team and specifically my partner, she's taught me how to not be possessive of each other. So therefore I kind of looked at ideas and products the same way. It's kind of like music. you didn't come up with a C sharp minor or whatever chord progression it is. You brought it to this dimension, telling a narrative, but ultimately you didn't come up with those things. And that's why I believe the same thing with ideas is, everything has already been done.
Yeah.
The grocery bag design, it was done 20 years ago, right? But it was on canvas tote by a company in Thailand, or somewhere in Asia actually. But I didn't know about it before doing mine.
Hmm.
Okay, so it was like something that just kind of in the zeitgeist. We're all connected together.
Yeah.
Everything repeats every 20 years. So I just happened to catch a wave of the meme era.
Mhm.
We now, to your point of, everything is so accessible, we now have a better understanding of humor, of sarcasm, and taking things into context. And we just have a better sense of humor. So these bags happen to catch that wave. The time is on our side.
Yeah.
So, having that understanding, it really helps with my mental health, as far as like, pushing my ego to the side. So
Absolutely. And I was even going to say, like, when you think of the mental health angle on that, like, yeah, if you're someone who's really focusing on the negative, right, like you're going to be in a more negative mind state, which has an impact on so many other levels of your career, just like how your creativity flows, like the support systems that you garner, the networks that you build, the quality of your work, the quality of your communication, your self-esteem, self-confidence, all that stuff kind of plays into it. And
right.
it really does boil down to perspective. Like you can
Yeah.
choose to look at it this way, or you can choose to look at it another way. And that transcends into so many other layers of who we are as people, our identity, our careers. So
1000%. And just everything is energy. Everything vibrates. Everything is on a wavelength, and if you emit a certain wavelength and energy, you receive that back. The universe and God tells you, okay, that's what you are asking for. Here you go. So for us, no matter what the obstacles are and the circumstances may be, we as life designers, and that's the name of our brand. um, we as life designers, we like to just emit positivity. We like to emit, and honestly, going back to the rootedness of the Filipino spirit, that's what it is. So no matter how hard times get, no matter if there's a typhoon or a hurricane, hey, we'll be good as long as we got each other. And that's the mentality. We might not have a lot, but we have a lot.
yeah. What's a piece of advice you'd want to give to any burgeoning creatives who are on the come up right now?
I have so much. I feel like it depends on what they need at the moment. Um, there's this question I feel can go a very shotgun approach, where I could just say one thing and it'll just, whoever it hits, they'll hit. But I want it to be more specific to whatever they need. But I think for someone that's just coming up, I would say that the next 5 years is practice. Um, so I would say also plan only 70% of whatever it is,
Mm.
80%, and let God do the rest. Let it go, move forward with an idea. A lot of people like to, oh, I gotta perfect it. There's no such thing, because we are imperfect creatures. So practice the act of letting go, is
I
something that I would say.
I love that so much, because something I actually tell a lot of the clients I work with that are designers or creatives is exactly that. Don't try and, we always talk about like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan of where we want to be and setting out like a roadmap. And that's great. But if you fine tune that to the point where you don't have any room for God to come in and do his thing, or
Yeah.
whatever spirituality you practice, then, you might be missing opportunities because it really can create a closed mindset, and you want to still be
Yeah,
open to new possibilities that can come your way because you never know where some of those things may take you.
1000%. And I think, and with that being said, there's another advice that I would give out to as well. Like when it comes to branding, follow 3 words and make sure that your brand or anything that you do encompasses all those 3 words, and never go out of it. If it's only two that's reflective in your post, in your flyer, in your product, figure out how you can get all three in there. Just be consistent with the messaging that you're trying to say to your audience. It's just a lot. I have a whole lot of little anecdotes and little things that I like saying to people.
We'll have to do silkisms and do some type of mental set
Silkisms,
collab.
yes, 1000%, 1000%. Uh, it's a it's a it's a major role. I would say that it's my as an identity
Mhm.
to be creative in all aspects of my life, not just the design part. Because we believe here, how you do anything is how you do everything. So even from washing the dishes to taking care of my geckos, I try to be as creative as possible on and by that I mean like just putting on a different kind of like changing the perspective that I have, or the normal lens, and think about try to see it from a different way. So like I said, the creativity pretty much, like I try to brush my teeth the other day without a toothbrush. How do you even do something like that? And ultimately, that's again rooted back to a Filipino spirit where we don't have this. So how can we make it? How can we still do what we need to do?
Mhm.
They life design their we us we in the Western world we life design out of ex, ex, to express ourselves.
Mhm.
And some parts of the world, specifically Philippines, they life design out of survival.
Yeah.
So